So for the next 2 days, we have really high chances for thunderstorms and a lot of rain. That means we need to get this rainwater collection system behind me here finished as soon as we can. They're predicting about 3 inches of rain over the next 2 days, and I'm thinking that that should be plenty enough to be able to fill both of these tanks. We need to get a crossover pipe from this tank over to this tank, so that way we can have an overflow system that will, once this tank is full, eventually fill this tank. We're also going to be adding some fittings down here at the bases of the tank, so that way we can have a regular garden hose running off of these things and then supply our greenhouse with water and our raised beds. So between these two tanks, each one holds 250 gallons, so that'll give us a total of 500 gallons of rainwater, which will be perfect because I've seen it time and time again. Nothing feeds your plants better than good old natural rainwater. Nothing even from a well does as good. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't around for most of the construction of this project, and that's because I had to work Monday through Friday while my mom and dad were working on putting this together themselves. Pretty sure that we've got this built solid enough to be able to hold both of these IBC totes full of water. I'm figuring that should be about 4,000 pounds between the two totes. Now, as far as what we've got done with the tanks, right now we have both of them lined or wrapped in plastic, and that's just to keep the sun from beating on the water and causing any unnecessary algae growth. This tote right here in front of me is about half full right now. You can feel, yeah, it's right about here. It's kind of weird, but even with this black plastic on here, you would think it'd be really warm. The water is actually really cold right in this spot. You can feel the water where it is, and then it starts to get warm where it's just air the rest of the way up inside the tank. So we're right about here right now with water. This is our containment system from the top. We just have our eave trough running into that one IBC tote over there with the cap off. All right, so what our plan actually is to use these drain outlets here at the bottoms of the tank. We're gonna use that as our crossover for filling both tanks. And we're gonna start out by putting on these cam locks, so we can attach the rest of our PVC fittings. Perfect. We're going to put an adapter, a threaded adapter on the end of this cam lock here. We're gonna slide our T-fitting on, and then we're gonna have a cross section of pipe between two T's. We're gonna do the same thing to the other tank over there to fill both tanks. Then on the end here, we've got another fitting that we're going to PVC cement in and then add a water spigot to the end. So that way we can hook up a regular garden hose to this, and we'll be able to get water from either tank with a garden hose. And we did put just a little bit of PVC tape on here just to help seal the threads up so we don't have any water leaks. Here we got a little bit of primer, get a little bit of glue inside, glue on the outside of this guy. Give it a little twist and push it in until it stops, and we'll hold it there. All right, so we got both of our little 2 3/4 inch extensions put on. We're gonna put our T's on now. All right, now we're gonna get our crossover pipe prepped in here. It was at about this point right here that I had a major brain fart, and I realized I don't have the faucet in this adapter. And if I don't have the threads located right with the adapter, I don't know that that faucet's gonna be pointing downward. So I quick hurried up, got the adapter slid in, and tightened in the faucet before the glue fully set, so I could make sure I had the faucet facing downward. Oh, I think I might have gotten almost lucky. That's not tight. Ouch.
Dribble it. Oh, there you go, buddy. That's too.
There we go.
It looks, get it a 90. That's good.
Yeah. Perfect. Just for good measure, I made sure we had the faucet turned into the adapter for the second side before I installed the adapter. So everything's looking really good up to this point, and everything went together really easy. Almost too easily. Now we have to actually make sure that what we've just done is actually going to work and function the way that we expect it to. If this half full tank doesn't flood over to the other side like we're expecting, we're in a lot of trouble. So we're gonna test out to see if our water goes from the tank that's full right now over to the tank that still does not have anything in it. We just wanted to wait a couple hours for the PVC cement to cure up. So we're gonna let it go and see if we can hear the water flow over. Right now we can hear the water. Sounds like that's about it. Now we'll try out one of the spigots here, just make sure we get some water here.
We got water.
Perfect. That water is crystal clear that's coming out of those tanks. You can see right down to the bottom of that watering can. As you can see, this is the water that was being collected from the rooftop into the totes that were sitting underneath, and because the sun was able to get access to the water, it turned it a nice green color with a bunch of algae in there versus how clear it stays in the tanks now. As the storms start moving in from the west here, we'll have to wait and see if our totes are actually going to perform as expected. And are we even going to get all of the rain that the weathermen said we were supposed to get? We all know how accurate they can be sometimes. Over the next 2 days, we had some insanely strong thunderstorms with severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado watches, and even warnings on those as well. Unfortunately, the most severe storms always took place at night, so there wasn't really much to see, and it was actually kind of scary. So now that the storms have finally all cleared out, it's time for us to go take a peek in our totes and see how much water we actually got out of these storms. And I haven't looked in them yet, so this is going to be a first for all of us. Just at first glance, these things are solid. And there it is. The water is right to the top of this tank, which means the water should be right to the top of the adjacent tank as well. So between the two of these totes, we have a total of 500 gallons of water. Now, unfortunately, I can almost guarantee that at some point here, we had some overflow and we didn't collect as much water as we really could have. So to fix that problem, we're adding another 250 gallon tote to this system to have a total of 750 gallons of water. We're going to be adding another portion onto this deck here, put our third tank up, then we'll add in some extra plumbing here to fill the 2 tanks on the side here from the primary tank. Now, even though we have the ability and the capacity to potentially collect 750 gallons of water, unfortunately that might not be enough to get us through the entire summer if we end up running into a drought. So make sure you click the next video here where we're going to attempt to revive this well to prepare us for a worst case scenario.